Last month, 89% of homes in the Fraser Valley, they didn't sell. Detached homes had an 11% sales to active listing ratio, which means that for every 100 homes listed on the market, only 11 sold. The other 89, they just sat there. And townhouses and condos, well, they weren't far behind, sitting at 17% and 13% respectively. So if you're thinking about selling right now, this is not a market that you can afford to get wrong, because listings, they're piling up. Prices are sliding, and most sellers, they really don't have any idea just how different this market really is. So, what is going on, and how do you avoid from becoming just another listing that gets completely ignored? Well, let's talk about it. If you're selling a home in 2025, you really need to hear this, because this market, it's not what it used to be. In the Fraser Valley right now, sales are down 36% from the 10-year seasonal average. Inventory is up 54%. And prices, well, they're dropping month over month across every type of home. But here's what most sellers are missing. Homes, they are still selling, but only the homes that are priced and positioned properly. And so in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly why most homes are not selling, and more importantly, how you can avoid being one of them. Do you want to list your home, or do you want to sell it? That's the very first question that I ask every potential seller right now, because listing your home and selling it, those are two completely different things. Anyone can list a property, right? But if your pricing is off, or if you're just guessing, or if you are clinging to last year's numbers, the truth is you're going nowhere. Buyers today, they're very cautious. They're analytical, right? And they've got a ton of options. So if they don't see value right away in your home, they're gone. This is not the market to test a price. This is the market that you need to compete in. So you want to ask yourself, do you want to list your home, or do you want to sell it? Now, if you're serious about getting your home sold and not just listed, we can have a conversation. I'll show you exactly what is selling in your neighborhood right now and how your home fits in. So you can book a call using the link in the description box below. Also, while you're there, go ahead, like this video, make sure you subscribe, okay? Because it helps get the word out to other people just like you looking to potentially list their home. Now that said, let's get really clear on what we are dealing with here. In the Fraser Valley, sales are 36% below the 10-year average. Inventory is 54% above where it usually is. And home prices, well, they're sliding across the board. Detached, townhomes, condos, it really doesn't matter. They are all coming down in price. And buyers, well, they are not feeling urgent right now. They're watching the market, they're watching it soften, they're watching rates, and they're also watching you. If your listing doesn't stand out on price and presentation, it's just going to get lost in the shuffle. And this isn't a temporary slowdown. This is a recalibrated market. And you either adjust or you're just going to sit there. So let's talk about what happens when you overprice in this market. So if you start off your listing too high in price, week one, you're going to get nothing, no responses. It's going to be absolute crickets, right? And then by the time you get to week three, maybe you've got a few nosy neighbors that come by to take a look at your property. But again, it's really nothing. Nobody's serious. Week 5 rolls around and you're forced to drop your price. And then by week 8, well, buyers are going to start asking, what is wrong with it? That's naturally what buyers start to ask. And at this point, well, your listing is going to be stale. And a stale listing, it does not command top dollar. What they do is they attract bargain basement hunters. So, you end up chasing the market down, and eventually you're going to sell your home for less than if you had actually priced it right from day one. In this kind of a market, time is not your friend. Overpricing is going to cost you more than just time. It's going to cost you money. Now, here's something you might not expect. A growing number of experienced agents, including myself, we're starting to walk away from overpriced listings. And it's not because we don't want the business. I mean, of course we want it, but it's because we've been through all of this before. You see, when a seller won't listen to the data of what's actually going on in the market today, and they're stuck on maybe what their neighbor got a year ago, or maybe on what they need, as they'll often say, well, you know how that story ends. 6 months of frustration, no sale, and well, at that point, everyone just loses. And in this market, reputation matters, all right? Good agents, they are working with realistic, strategic sellers because that is who actually gets the result right now. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand the emotional attachment to your home. You love your home, right? You've invested in it. You've made memories in that home, and you want it to be worth more. But buyers, honestly, they do not care about that. I'm sorry to say that. I know that sounds harsh, but buyers, well, they care about what else they can buy for that same price right now in today's market. So, if your price is driven by emotion or ego or maybe the past, well, you're going to be setting yourself up for disappointment. You need to price with intention. You need to price to compete. You need to price to sell and not to satisfy a feeling, all right? Because here's the deal. The first 30 days is going to be everything. And that's when your home is fresh. That's when it gets the most eyeballs on it, the most energy, and the best shot of a clean offer. After that, you are chasing, right? You're not leading anymore. So, if you're unsure of what your home is actually worth in today's market, I've included a link in the description box below. You can get a free home valuation. It's fast, it's free, it's real, and it's based on today's data, not last year's dreams, right? All right, so now that you know why most homes aren't selling, here's the better question. What are the 11% doing differently to get their home sold, right? Like, what strategies are smart sellers using right now to attract real offers, even while prices are dropping and inventory is rising? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to be covering in my next video. So if you want to win in this market, that is where you're going to want to start. And if you have any questions or you want to chat more about this, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.